everybody. We are on number 6 of Philippians, and we're still, of course, in chapter 1, but the richness of this keeps us in here. We want to get from it whenever we can. We're at Philippians chapter 1. Remember last time I had talked about everything that we do is for God's glory, and I think someone who is really following God has God's glory in view, no matter what he's doing, no matter what he's saying, no matter what he intends. Loving to glorify God, meaning we are going to go behind God. We are not as important as he is, of course. We are to glorify him by showing God to people the power of the Lord. And that means then as we take him into the Holy of Holies, and we've talked about that, we are to share that with people. Now look at Philippians chapter 1, verses 12. I want you to know, brothers, that what has happened to me. Now remember Paul. He has a history that has not been great. What has happened to me, he says, has really served to advance the gospel. And I can say to you today, what has happened to you can be served to advance the gospel. Even though you might be thinking, yes, Janette, but you don't have my marriage, or you haven't had my childhood. But I promise you, if you accept what all that Christ has to offer you, it will advance the gospel. And then verse 13, so that it has become known throughout the whole imperial guard and to all the rest of my imprisonment is for Christ. So what Paul is saying, all the guards, everyone, all the imprisonment that he has gone through was for Christ. It's a deep thinking. To be able to think that about our lives, that no matter what we have gone through, no matter what the next step might bring, it is for Christ's glory. Wow. You have that kind of confidence. Again, if we don't, you go to him and you tell him, I don't have that. I want that. Verse 14, and most of the brothers, having become confident in the Lord by my imprisonment, are much more bold to speak the word without fear. Look at that. Because of what Paul has gone through, other people are more bold. Because of the boldness of Paul, because of the hurt of Paul, the hurts that he went through, other people have gained from it without fear. And I think that is because of Paul praying for the others, of course, but also the way that Paul went through this harsh time of being in prison. People were watching him. People are watching you. People are watching me. And hopefully, because of the, the fact that maybe your faith kind of leaks out of your life by how you speak, by how you act, it gives other people confidence. Wow, wonderful. Now, we know it was for the furtherance of the gospel. Because while he was in prison, during this time, by the way, Paul wrote Ephesians, Philippians, and Colossians. While you are in the dark place, or things are not quite the way it should be, you think, you can still be fruitful. Remember, we talked about the fruit of the Spirit last time. So no time has to be a time of emptiness. God didn't waste Paul's time during the time he was in prison. God never wastes our time, though we may waste it by not sensing God's purpose for our lives. The furtherance of the gospel, to have the gospel be encouraged in other people's lives. Paul doesn't mention if he was being advanced. He was mentioning if God was being advanced. Oftentimes, I think that people will feel unproductive, that their life is a waste because they are not being advanced. Do you see, if we can change that type of thinking, that we're advancing God, not ourselves? The passion has to be for God, not for ourselves. It's become evidence to the whole palace guard who Paul is. No matter where we are, what prison we might think we're in, it has to be evident to them that we belong to Christ because of the fruit of the Spirit. And if you can look at the last talk, what the fruit of the Spirit is. Circumstances around Paul, his manner in living in the middle of it, made it clear to everybody who he belonged to. He was there. It was chosen for him to be there as a witness to Christ. You are chosen to be where you are as a witness to Christ. Wow, what a heady thing. Thank you, dear Father, for that, right? Let me pray with you. Dear Father, thank you so very much that you have chosen us to be in your family. I'm humbled over that. And to be a witness for you. Thank you, dear Father. Be with each person that's looking at this today. Have them have you in their heart. And then have them look at their life with joy, knowing the deep purpose that you have them where they are at this moment. I ask this in your Son's name. Amen. Have a good day. Bye-bye.